Hey guys, Tisha here. Welcome back for Sister Wives Season 9. Now, the way that they had it labeled on the television screen and what I saw for this second part of episode 1 is completely different. So, in the second part, they're calling it a tell-all raw, and it's basically them going back for the past 5 years of different footage that they have, some of which we've seen and some of which we haven't. So, one of the things that I noticed was that this Abel, y'all, I'm already reading my notes wrong. I was about to stop it. Should I stop it? Nope. Anyway. Just consider this a blooper. So, the family was able to dodge questions for years. In this episode, we basically get exposed to the uncut things as well as the somewhat passive aggressiveness and the way that they skirt around issues. So, we get started with what Tamron is dubbing as Polygamy 101, and she shows us all these different things with the comments that they made, basically of them saying that they're guided by spirituality. And Cody says, yes, 100%. I guess that Cody does not know what 100% means because that's not what we've seen over the years. So the bird says that she, on the other hand, would do this even if you took the religious aspect out of it. And I'm like, of course she would, because there's also the financial part of it. Like, let's be clear. Her joining this family helped her out significantly financially. She was able to get rid of debt that she had based on her previous marriage, and she left that man with debt too. So Tamron says, help me understand that, because I thought that this was fueled by religion. So if it's fueled by religion, why would you want to stay if you took the religious aspects out of it? And Robin says it is fueled by religion and religious beliefs, but I would want to be here regardless because I still would like to keep this family structure. I personally don't know that she would want to do that if there wasn't money involved. You can sit here and talk about how much sacrifice it takes to share this husband and how it takes a lot of working with different people and understanding other attitudes and you not putting yourself first, but you're going to tell me that you would want to keep this family structure. It doesn't match up. Especially for a family that we know at this point, she really wasn't involving herself with. She said it herself in a last tell-all for season 8 that she just didn't have time to really be bothered with them because she was so busy with work and stuff. So how is it that this family structure was so important? Your actions didn't show that. Tamron asked everyone if they all feel that same way, and they all say yes. And I was very perplexed about it until Mary said that after so many years of being a family unit, she finds it hard to just walk away, which is one of the many reasons why she probably stuck around as long as she did with Cody. Tamron says she's really struggling with the fact that they would say that they would remain in this without their faith. She says if you take that out, that's basically the catalyst for what you have. Your catalyst is faith. So I don't understand the point of plural marriage if you don't have that. So Mary says that faith isn't telling her that she loves Cody, her sister wives, and her kids. And for her, faith isn't dictating whether or not she loves them. Now notice, Mary says for her, faith does not dictate that, because Cody then says that faith is just a guideline to actually be more charitable to one another. You're going to hear more about what Cody says about it further on. I think one of the reasons why the answers were so confusing is because none of them had a true solid foundation of what their beliefs were at the time. It's easy to say that you had a testimony, and it's easy to say that you felt a lightning bolt, but what have they actually studied and learned about the religion? Because it's like everything that we've been told from this family is extremely surface level. At this point, This family has been on our screens where we are now for 5 years. And in 5 years, what can we say about their religious beliefs? Other than the fact that they believe in plural marriage, they believe that they're eternally connected, they believe that there's a celestial kingdom, they believe in abstinence, and they believe that a man can have multiple wives, but a woman can't have multiple husbands. What else do we know? Because they really don't tell us a lot. Even though we've witnessed them in church and things of that nature, they don't tell us a lot. They're in the shallow end of a deep, deep pool. He says, without faith, it would be a tougher marriage. It is faith that makes you love, it makes you charitable, and it makes you unselfish. Earlier, if you recall, Mary said that faith doesn't make her love Cody, the wives, and the kids. But here Cody is saying that faith is what makes him love them. If you remove their religion, they still want to be a family. But would Cody, removing the religion aspect, still love them because his faith is no longer there, which is kind of where we are at now with Cody. Cody's faith has wavered. And as a result, he's told us all types of different variations about whether or not he ever loved these women. Okay? They talk about brother husbands. Tamron wants to know if there could ever be a spiritual moment where something like what happened between them and Cody would happen with a man and with them and multiple men. And they quickly say, no, there's no way. This part of their faith is beyond my understanding because I don't understand how it can happen, for a man and a woman, but it can't happen for women and multiple men. But I'm going to stay off of that because they say that it is not a part of their doctrine for women to have brother husbands. They talk about other women approaching Cody. Tamron says that there's a Cody Brown groupies out there, which surprises me. I can't believe that some of you fine ladies out there ever wanted to be a groupie for Cody. Those type of women are probably why he spends so much time trying to get ready and be in the mirror. Christine very sarcastically says, wow, you have a fan club. Oh my gosh. When she does stuff like that, like some of Christine's funny moments are cringy to me. And they remind me of the times that Christine used to get on my nerves. I like her now, but boy, oh boy, did she get on my nerves and annoy me back then. So Robin says whenever people want to take a picture with Cody, that he gets all fidgety and he's like, and she's stammering and talking and stuff. And she absolutely loves speaking for Cody. Even while he's trying to speak for himself, she's talking over him. She says, well, what he does is he starts sweating and he just gets uncomfortable. Yeah, right. So we're supposed to believe that every single time Cody goes out with a wife and he sees a fan that he gets sweaty and uncomfortable? No. He says whenever he takes a picture with a woman, especially if that woman just wants to take a picture with him, that he makes a point of always putting a wife in between him and that woman, unless the energy feels safe. And I just feel like, okay, how often has Cody been approached by women and he didn't feel safe? I doubt that women are running up to Cody and saying, I hate you. Because if I saw Cody, even though I dislike him, I wouldn't say anything. I would look him dead in the face and say, oh, you're Cody Brown, and keep walking. Just so he knows I knew who he was and to see that I did not have a fan moment over him. No one was trying to be with that man. Tamron then brings up jealousy and how they worked out issues that they've had with one another, but she wants to know if other women coming up and flirting with Cody would bug them or make them jealous. So Christine says, oh yeah, I got something for you. She talks about this woman who was interested in Cody before Robin, and she thought that the woman was highly inappropriate, her words. I think that this might be some variation of the story that Cody tried to tell us recently when he was doing some of the rewatches about Christine not letting him marry somebody who wanted to marry him, but he used it out of context and it didn't seem like they got to that stage of it because Christine said what he's talking about didn't have anything to do with the situation, but I thought it was interesting that this is what she brought up. They talked, she said, and there were things that she saw her doing that she felt wasn't cool, that the lady kept calling him, and she did not want a relationship with the wives at all. She just wanted a relationship with him. And that's not going to work because one of the things that they have to do is have a relationship with wives. So there's this particular day that happens. Mary comes over. Mary tells Christine that she called again. So Christine is like, what? Runs out, goes to wherever Cody's at, which is, I'm going to assume is in Mary's section of the house or something like that. I don't know. Grabs the phone from him. She yells at the lady, tells her, if you wanted to be a part of this family, you should have been brown-nosing me, sweetheart. You're over and it's done. You're inappropriate. I told you to stop it. It ends here and it ends now. Mary says, yeah, she completely gave her the boot. And they're all chuckling about it. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, this shows me another side of Christine. We've been told time and time again that Mary is the aggressive one and that Mary speaks harshly. But I feel like it was disrespectful for Christine to run up on Cody and snatch the phone out of his hand. Her word, she said she grabbed it. She didn't say I asked him for it. I took it from him gently. She said I grabbed it. Y'all tell me what you think. Taryn says, so, okay, Christine, this is a different side of you. This shows me that you have a little pushback when it comes to your man. And she says, absolutely. If it's not the right person and it's not the right fit, I'm going to push back, which is one of the reasons why at times I feel like Cody resented Christine. But Christine knew enough to know that she was not going to be allowed to push back with Robin because as she witnessed, Cody was in love with Robin. So they get to fan questions. And one of the fan questions is, who's in charge? For the most part, over the years, we see that it said it's Cody. But during season 4, Cody let it be known that if he would not be in charge or if he was not leading and one of his wives was, that would be highly inappropriate. He said, you cannot have wives that are subordinate to one another. In an unwritten way, though, that's kind of what happened because the bird's opinion in the bald eagle's eyes has mattered more than the OG3's opinion, which to me would kind of mean that she managed her way up into that leading position. But she did so in a way that Cody still doesn't notice because they can say what they want to say about those COVID rules. That didn't come from Cody or the doctor. That came from the bird. He says the only people who question whether or not he's leading is people that basically don't know the family. In other words, us viewers or the outside world, we're the ones that question it. Even though the question was asked of Cody, once again, the bird interjects and she says that he manages his family in a subtle way. He does it by consensus. I think he tricks some of them into feeling like it's consensus, but it's not always consensus. We've seen times where he suggested things and pushed his idea towards things and basically didn't give some of the ladies a chance. Like that move, it wasn't a suggestion. They were told they were moving. The bird continues and says that he has final say-so because we trust him. He's earned it. Those women really allowed a person who had only been in the family for a few years, the person who had the least amount of time, to always speak up like she was the guru on the plural life and on that family, even though she was still learning certain dynamics herself. Taryn asks if there's other plural marriages where wives have that kind of title, like as Queen Bee. And Robin says that it does happen sometimes, but it's usually because you have a husband that's not strong. And I feel like that's what Robin seeks out, is men that are not strong. She did it with her first husband and she's managed to do it with Cody. Cody has tried to act like he's the leader of his family, but I don't think that Cody ever had true leadership roles when it came to his family. I think that his wives made a lot of decisions, and it wasn't until Robin came along and made him feel like he was making decisions that head role really mattered to him so much. Robin says you have a wife that is domineering or pushy and throws a fit, and as a result she kind of becomes like the Queen Bee. And Robin has become the Queen Bee, maybe with less version of the fit, but she's done it. She's pushed her way to the top. She says, those type of women are strong-willed, and they are strong-willed, but they allow for Cody to be who he is, which is the leader, whatever. Tamron says, it's interesting that Robin mentions that because that word comes up over and over again. We then see clips of how many times they say strong or strong-willed, and somehow we end up talking about Cody's not so strong hair. I'm not going to talk about that foolishness. Bottom line, everyone thinks he's hotter now than he was before. Tamron asks if he's high maintenance. Janelle doesn't answer the question, but she says that after a few days, she's ready for him to go. Basically, Cody was annoying the hell out of her. If you say after a couple days you're ready for him to go, he was annoying the hell out of Janelle. That's why she loved her independence. Robin says she loves all of Cody's rituals. She's such a butt kisser. So she's like, okay, well, what kind of rituals? And she's like, well, he has a whole bunch of vitamins and health procedures that he does before bed. And then when he gets up in the morning, he has certain things that he does. When he goes and he works out, he has a routine. What is there to love about that? Other than maybe him working out, he has to maintain that six-pack. Tamron says, did you ever get to a point where you guys financially may have ended up in one big home? Robin says that they did have a plan B if they couldn't get the homes. They were going to do whatever they had to do to be together. They would move in the same home and share a kitchen if they had to, according to Cody, but he really didn't want to put his family through that. Tamron points out to the viewers that this was her first sit down with the Browns. Tamron says, if you could only have two homes, who would share a home? And to no surprise, Christine and Janelle says that they would share a home and Robin and Mary would share another. And Janelle says, yeah. Janelle says, Christine and I have worked in tandem and she loves to stay home with the kids. And we see Cody shaking his head, yes. And I love to work. Keep that in mind because a lot of times Cody likes to say that Christine was a crappy sister wife, but here that's not what he's doing. He's agreeing with the fact that Christine is hands-on a lot when it comes to the family. She's said that she's not afraid to have the kids make a mess, and she also likes to cook, which Janelle does not like to cook. And as I said before, Janelle is messy. Because one of the things that was said in the book is that Janelle had a problem with the fact that Mary didn't want her to leave dishes in the sink overnight, and that was an issue for her. So Janelle would feel like she could be a little bit more messier with Christine. We then talk about the business and finances, and we find out that Christine loves couponing. And then we also find out that Savannah, this comes from Robin, she lets us know that Savannah gets all of Brianna's hand-me-down clothing. And I said, this is making me think that this is one of the reasons why when they got older, I think Brianna and Savannah, despite being close in age, were not close. You guys try to remember back to when Janelle bought that RV camper thing to put out on Coyote Pass, and all the family toured this same RV. And when it got to Brianna touring the RV, that she asked while she was giggling and stuff if Savannah's bedroom was where the dogs were sleeping. It came off as really snobby to me. And it kind of made me feel like Robin's kids, because they were given so many different things and because they were always trying to overcompensate for the fact that they were an addition to the family, and because they were uprooted so many times that they had to have the first house, and then at one point they had to have the biggest house because they all had to have their own rooms and all of these different things, that I think that Robin's children, especially Brianna, felt like they were better than some of the other kids, especially because Janelle seems to be the most frugal out of all of them. So Janelle says, yes, the kids do wear hand-me-downs and we don't eat out a lot, and we go on vacations, and when we do, we take coolers, and We have a lot of talk with the kids about finances. Cody let us know that was one of the reasons why Logan decided to go to UNLV was because he was being responsible. Janelle says that she's always been open with her children about how sometimes they may have to wait on certain things. And seriously, I don't see how they did it, because I see how much things are now, and I only have one child, and I too am very open with my son about finances. I don't like to burden him with certain things, but I need for him to understand that I make certain sacrifices in order for him to be more comfortable. For example, I do my own hair. Very seldomly do I get my hair done. If I do, it's just to get my ends clipped. Blown out, ends clipped. Meanwhile, my son has a loctician that he goes to every 2 months, and he has his barber that he goes to. I do that so he can be good, so he can look appropriate, so he can look well groomed. I can do it, but I can't do it the way that they can do it. And these are the type of sacrifices that we as parents make. We put ourselves to the back burner to make sure that our kids are good. So I can appreciate the fact that Janelle, because I don't think all of them did it, but Janelle was really open with her kids about finances. They then talked to them about not having a house as well. And they said how they felt that the most important thing was for them all to stay together, which we know that because we heard before about how they were willing to be mortgage poor in order to have these houses all together. I just don't understand why they're talking about all these different things. They're not saying how doing the show has helped them financially, because it has helped them significantly. We then talk about Sister Wives Closet, how season after season they couldn't seem to find their footing in terms of the business. Janelle found it better to do something else. She said that the business was not ideal for their relationships. Janelle didn't see the point in it from day one, and seriously, she was right. Their jewelry was geared towards a certain demographic. The artist, the bird, had limited perspective when it came to her pieces, and it was extremely overpriced. Janelle says that she basically felt like it was too much of a burden and it was causing too much stress. She said she'll cheerlead for it and she'll support them as much as she can, but that is not going to be her focus. She likes having her own individual direction, and I felt like Janelle should have kept that individual money to herself. Cody says, when I have a problem with the business, the person that I go to is Robin, because we all know that it was never about the other sister wives. It was always about the little birdie's business that she could not do without the financial help in order to start it up. Tamron asks how important the Sister Wives Closet is to the family. Cody says, in the first year, we made enough money to support 1 or 2 families. I want to know, is that Mary's family and another family? What does that consist of? Because that's a very broad amount, seeing as to how there's different sizes for different families. And I truly don't believe it. He agrees with Tamron that nothing brings money into the family like my Sister Wives Closet, but that's because TLC brings more, but they're not going to talk about it. They keep talking about this business like this is all they had, when we know that they had other things going on in the family. Cody says, we don't want Sister Wives Closet to fail. It's a viable, functional business, and it's a dream for some of us, and us means Robin. No one else wanted that dream, because Mary said she didn't want it. She wanted to go back to school. Janelle definitely said she didn't want it. She referred to it as a hobby business and decided to stick with real estate. Christine didn't want it either. Christine did it as a fallback because Christine also was trying to pursue her real estate license. Failed the first time, passed the second time, then realized how much of her effort was going to have to be put into the business on weekends and things of that nature, and how it was going to take away from her kids. And she decided, okay, I can't do that, so I'm going to do the Sister Wives Closet. So the only person that leaves is Robin, because Cody definitely didn't want it either. He says if it fails, we can always go and get jobs. And I'm confused, because I thought that we were told by the family at around the time that they were getting the homes that they all were in some type of marketing business. What was that marketing business? Wasn't that how we were told that Cody got that new car, the drop top that he's been driving around? So Tamron says, so it seems like even though it's not everyone's dream, that you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket, and they are. We then get to Tamron and the teens. We have Mykelti, Hunter, Maddie, Aspen, Logan, and Leon. She says she's watched them grow into young adults. Their common word that she always hears them say is honest. Logan, they're asked about the moms and their different personalities. Logan says Christine's a goofball. Mary is most like his mom because she's matter of fact. Maybe that's why they bump heads so much, because they were both matter of fact. Then he says that Mary likes things to be precise. Hunter says because both Mary and Janelle want it one way or the other, that's why they're kind of alike. Robin, we hear, is more emotional. Leon says Robin is like a mama bear. The emotions are fake. I guess the kids didn't realize at the time, though. In season 5, the teens say that they talk to their moms more about things than their dad. Logan says that he gets advice from his dad, but he can go to the moms when it comes to venting. Hunter says his father is married 4 women, so when it comes to dating and things like that, his dad knows stuff. I'm so happy Hunter grew up, because maybe he sees more now. Aspen says that she definitely can talk to her mom more than anything about relations and stuff. We then see Tamron sit with the little kids, some of them. We got Brianna, Aurora, Gabriel, Gwen, and Savannah, and Isabel. They like having siblings. Their dad usually yells quiet, and everyone doesn't quiet down. Gabe says we're pretty quiet, but if we get too rambunctious, he'll yell. I tell y'all, after I saw Gabe lie the way that he did on Garrison, you got to keep an eye on that one. He's even over here lying again, like we haven't seen how rambunctious they get and how much they don't listen. They think that they get their sense of humor from their moms. Gabe says he mainly gets his from Christine because she's hilarious and awesome. And he still feels that way to this day because he wants to always be around Christine. All of Janelle's children do. But the other moms have a sense of humor too, according to Aurora. They said their dad is a cool dad. Gabe says even though he works, he still tries to hang out and tries to get the family together. Keep in mind that we've been told by both Christine and now Janelle that at one point Cody did spend a lot of time with her boys and he did favor them. Aurora says that their dad has a great sense of humor and that's where they get it from. He makes a lot of sarcastic jokes. We then get back to the adults with the subject of Mary and Janelle. And after all this time, how they haven't wiped the slate clean comes up. Robin says that she sees Janelle's claws come out when someone's talking badly about Mary and vice versa. And so she says that they're fiercely loyal. I wouldn't say that, but okay. Cody says he knows they're loyal to each other because the way that they've communicated to him. He talks about how at one point him and Mary were struggling and Janelle got in his face and said, you protect that relationship. You do whatever is necessary to save the marriage. I want to know if that was the sake for the marriage or if that was the sake of polygamy. I don't think it was necessarily for the relationship because there have been other instances where we've seen Cody not treat his wives correctly and we've witnessed them not say anything. They didn't utter a word during those times. Christine says they're still working on their relationship and all the sister wives are trying to get a tighter bond. So then living directly next to each other, I still don't understand why that wasn't accomplished. Tamron says, how many years have you all been working at it? Because let's be clear, at this point, we're now in season 9, 5 years in, and we're still talking about this bond that they have yet to gain. Janelle says, I'm finding out that I want more of a relationship and more from my sister wives. She says, I don't know if it's because some of the kids are gone now, but they're just different now, and she wants a different kind of relationship. That's fine, but that doesn't answer the question. And Tamron says, when you're saying more, what are you referring to? And she says, being open and honest. Robin says, when you come into this family, you already have in the back of your mind that you shouldn't trust another woman. And that's not what I've read recently in Love Times 3. Shameless plug. If you haven't seen it, go listen. In the reading that I'm doing, one of the things that the family said is that the relationships between the wives is just as important as the one with the husband and the other wives. To the point where if the wives were not getting along, he didn't even want to marry them. So what is Robin talking about? Robin said, you have to say, what I want is to be able to trust that we have each other's backs. So basically, they didn't answer why they haven't yet bonded. We then get back to the kids and the fight between Gabe and Garrison. They want to know if they're on the same page when it comes to discipline. The answer is no. Cody claims that they're a committee and that's how they handle a lot of things. Christine says if Gwen and Aurora got into a fight or something at her house, then she would talk about it and work on it with them. Whereas in the book, Robin very clearly said that she does not allow the mothers to correct or discipline her kids, that she wants them to call her if something's wrong and let her handle it. So was Christine lying here or was Robin lying in the book? Christine then says that so she'll let Robin know what the situation was and they'll agree if what she decided was right. Robin says there are relationships with sister wives that you just can't compare to another relationship. It's not like a sister or a friend. Them having the same husband makes them have the same goals, and that's huge. The heifer really thinks she's smart. They talk about physical affection, how PDA is a no-go. Cody says that it started mainly because of the community and they don't do this public displays. Then it became a thing where they were being cautious because they didn't want to be known as polygamous. And then it was just something that they were uncomfortable with. But he feels like they were wrong and that they should be more affectionate in front of each other, and he's ready for it. Christine says she would love it, but she worries about how her reactions would be on the bad days. Mary says if her relationship is secure, she would be okay with it. And Janelle says she's fine as long as it's subtle. She doesn't want them lining up in a row and he's kissing each one of them one by one. And between her and Robin, they were in a battle to see who had the most fever blisters. So either way, y'all were kissing cousins. I'm just saying. Janelle... Janelle's okay with it. Mary said it would be nice to be acknowledged by her husband and be able to hug him or do whatever at any time and not have to worry about what else is going on. And I noticed Robin didn't really say much that time. They then talk about how polygamy works with them and how he rotates each night. And the bird says, no, you don't rotate. You spend one night here with one wife and one night here and one night here and one night here. It's semantics. Tamron says, why do you care? And Robin struggles over the words and says, we decided to become it to dispel the myths. People think he's in it for a certain reason. They think it's carnal. It just boils down to carnal and just sexual. They always struggle to say sexual. But I know that he has to put so much time and energy into each marriage every single day. So when people think that he's just trying to get his groove on, I'm just like, are you kidding me? So the word rotate just degrades what is. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Revolve, revolve, revolve. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Change, change, change. Like, what do you want us to say? Either way, he's jumping from one to the next. Christine says it does cheapens us. It absolutely cheapens us. We're doing our best to show that our plural family is functional, normal, and healthy. It's all semantics, as I said earlier. You take turns with each wife. We don't really care. After 5 years, they're used to the cameras. Cody says the only thing that he doesn't like is on a bad day, it feels kind of exploitable because he has a big mouth and that's really dangerous for him because he says stupid things. In the book, Cody thanked the producers for the times where they didn't show certain things and they respected it on certain things. So they were protected in some aspects. Tamron says one of the things that she's noticed about the Browns is over the years is that if there's something that happens on the show that they then see in tell all, they try to like explain it away and say, oh, well, here's what really happened. And it's basically a way to excuse their behavior. That was the end of that. We then get to a user question. When all the children are gone and graduate, will you and your wife still live separately or together? Cody says he doesn't know. It depends on where they are and how they are at that time in their life. He says he's of the opinion that they need their own autonomy. It just depends on what his wives need. So you felt that way back then, but then you did that slick stuff with trying to move them to Flagstaff for them to all live in Coyote Pass on one house without getting their approval before you did it. Funny how things change. If you have not done so already, please like the video, subscribe. If you've watched me more than once, what are you waiting for? Hit that button and leave a comment down below. If there's a part that I left out, because I did leave out some parts that I felt were redundant, and you want to talk about it, feel free to leave it in the comment section and I'll respond as soon as I can. Until next time.